So leader election helps our distributed systems to auto-recover without any human intervention and make the system autonomous. In this video, we take a detailed look into a leader election algorithm called TimeSlice. And this algorithm is extremely impractical, but still provides us with a great insight into a seemingly weird implementation. But before we move forward, I'd like to talk to you about a course on system design that I've been running for over a year now. The course is a cohort-based course, which means I won't be rambling a solution and it will not be a monologue. Instead, a small focused group of 50-60 engineers every cohort will be brainstorming systems and designing it together. This way, we build a solid system and learn from each other's experiences. The course to date is enrolled by 600 plus engineers spanning 9 cohorts and 10 countries. Engineers from companies like Google, Microsoft, GitHub, Slack, Facebook, Tesla, Yelp, Flipkart, Dream11 and many more have taken this course and have some wonderful things to say. The coolest part about the course is the depth we go into and the breadth we cover. We cover topics ranging from real-time text communication for Slack to designing our own toy load balancer to ClickBuzz's live text commentary to doing impressions counting at scale for any advertisement business. In all, we would cover roughly 28 questions and the detailed curriculum split week by week can be found on the course page which is linked in the description down below. So if you're looking to learn system design from the first principles, you will love this course. I have 2 offerings for you. The first one is the live cohort based course which you see on the left side, and the second one is the recorded course which you can see on the right side. The live cohort based course happens every 2 months and it will go on for 8 weeks, while the recorded course contains the recordings from one of the past cohorts as is. If you are in a hurry and want to binge learn system design, I would highly recommend you going for the recorded one. Otherwise, the live cohort is where you can participate and discuss things live with me and the entire cohort and amplify your learnings. The decision is totally up to you. The course details, prerequisites, testimonials can be found on the course page arpitbhayani.me/masterclass, and I would highly recommend you to check that out. I put the link of the course in the description down below. So if you are interested to learn system design, go for it. Check out the link in the description down below, and I hope to see you in my next cohort. So in a distributed system, the leader node may go down, which means that some other node needs to be the new leader. Either this can be done by an engineer configuring a node to be the new leader, but it requires time. That's why it's always better if your system auto heals itself, which is where leader election algorithm kicks in. As soon as the node detects that the leader is down, they trigger a leader election and they elect a new leader in the system, and your system auto restores it, and your system basically restores itself. So that's a good part. Now, we talk about an algorithm called TimeSlice. Now, this TimeSlice is very impractical algorithm, but it's very interesting. It's like sleep sort, but on steroids, right? So what happens is that TimeSlice algorithm is an unbounded. So you do not know when your algorithm would stop. It's an unbounded algorithm, impractical, but synchronous, right? As I mentioned, like the synchronous algorithm where every node knows that, hey, now the election is starting and now we are moving in first phase, second phase or something like that. Everything is happening synchronously. Right? So it's a synchronous algorithm which is unbounded, impractical, but very interesting. Right? So here what happens is it assumes that each node in the network is placed on a unidirectional ring. We don't assume bidirectionalism over here. It's simple unidirectional. This is the bare minimum assumption that we are making, that every node is placed on a unidirectional ring and it knows its immediate neighbor. Right? It has, and every node has been assigned a positive integer. It's very important, a positive integer as an ID, right? And that's how that node is identified. Then the node knows its neighbor in the clockwise direction because it's a unidirectional ring, and they are aware about the total number of nodes in the network. Now, this algorithm does not work on an assumption. This algorithm works on an assumption that every node in the system knows the number of nodes in the system. So if this network has 6 nodes or 7 nodes, every single node every single node in the system would know that, hey, these are the number of nodes in my system or in this particular network that I'm part of. Right? The algorithm is very slow, and it elects the node with the minimum UID as the new leader. Right? Very important. Up until now, algorithms that we saw, most algorithms elect the node with the maximum UID. Here it elects the node with the minimum UID. The number of messages passed, which is the communication complexity, is extremely low. It's just order of n, but the time is very high. The time it takes is order of n into umin, which is the minimum UID of the network. This would give you a hint on the implementation, by the way. Okay, so now let's talk about the algorithm. So here what happens is the algorithm happens in phases. Phase 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on and so forth. Right? Each phase consists of n rounds, where n is the number of nodes in the system. So if the number of nodes is 6, first phase would have 6 rounds. Second phase would have 6 rounds. Third phase would have 6 rounds and so on and so forth. Right? So each phase has n rounds in it. Now the idea is, why I said it's like sleep slot, because at the beginning of each phase, like if I'm starting with phase 1, what would happen in phase 1? Only the node with UID 1 can send a message. If in phase 1, round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no one else can do anything, only the node with UID 1 can do it. Right? So if nothing happens, then the election moves to phase 2. In phase 2, the node with UID 2 can send a message. Everyone else would be just sitting idle. Now when I say send a message, it would be either the node with UID 2 can send a message, and the message that is forwarded can also only contain UID 2. A node cannot forward a message. In a phase I, a node cannot forward a message from any node except I. Right? Any message that contains any UID except I. This is what the key idea is. Now here it's extremely slow. You can very clearly see that a lot of rounds would go waste, but this is what the algorithm is all about. So let me take a simple example to help you understand this better. So let's say in my distributed network, I have nodes 3, 4, 5, 11, 13 and 18. Right? And now these nodes needs to elect a leader amongst themselves. So now what would happen? As soon as my leader election algorithm starts, it starts from phase 1. So in phase 1, what would happen? Phase 1, round 1. Phase 1, because there is no node which has UID 1, the minimum UID is 3. So phase 1, for all 6 rounds of phase 1, nothing happens. Right? Then initiates phase 2. Any node in my system has UID 2? No. So nothing happens for next 6 rounds. So first 12 rounds are gone. Right? No messages exchanged, no leader elected. It's a waste of first 12 rounds. And now we enter phase 3. As soon as we enter phase 3, now magic starts to happen. As soon as we enter phase 3, what we would know that node with UID 3 would realize ki, arey, up until now I did not receive any message. Now it's beginning of phase 3. So hey, I am the leader now because I have the minimum UID. As soon as this happens, as soon as the node knows ki, hey, we have entered the phase 3, I did not receive any message, I am the leader now. So now the node with UID 3 will react. And because it has not received any message, it knows that it is the new leader. It creates an announcement message. It creates an announcement message with its own ID 3 and it then sends it to its neighbor. So phase 3, round 1, node with UID 3 creates an announcement message and sends it to its neighbor, which is node 11 or node 17, something. Any node in its right. It does that. Right? So now what would happen? Round 3, it sends it to its neighbor 11. It basically sends it to its immediate neighbor in the right. Now, phase 3, round 2, what the rule was that a node, like a message with that, like in a phase I, the announcement message with I in it can be sent. So because this node 17 has the message with ID 3, with UID 3 and it is phase 3, in round 2, the message will be forwarded to the next node. So 4. And then in the next round, it will go to 13. In the next round, it will go to 8. In the next round, it will go to 5. So in the phase 3, all n rounds, the announcement message will be moved from one node to another node to another node to another node. Right? So this is what the synchronous algorithm is all about, because everyone knows that, hey, we are in phase 3, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4. Because this is happening synchronously, everyone knows that with each passing time, with each passing round, I have to forward the message. So every node just simply knows that we are in this round. I have to take this message because it has the same UID. I'll be forwarding it to my immediate neighbor. And when the next round comes in, the next node would know, hey, I have message with this UID and we are in this particular phase. I have to forward it there. So now here what happens is, up until the time we see the minimum UID, those many rounds or those many phases are gone. So those many phases are gone, and now the bare minimum, the minimum UID that you have in the network is what is elected as the leader. And over the next n rounds, everyone in the network knows about this new leader, right? And this is how your election process stops. So in this example that we took, it was node UID 3, which was the least one. So which is where your new leader was elected as node ID 3, and in the phase 3 for n rounds, every node in the network knew about this new leader, and after that the election process stops. And this is how your election process halts, extremely slow, but it still works what it's supposed to do. Right? So that's the best part. Now complexity analysis, the number of messages exchanged are just order n. If I have n nodes in the system, the number of messages exchanged is n, because up until phase I, where I is my minimum node, nothing happens. There is no message exchange. So null messages or receipt of no message implies that there is nothing happening in the system, right? So order n is what is the message complexity, is what is the communication complexity of this algorithm. Extremely efficient, but the time complexity is pathetic, because for n rounds, up until we see up until we see the minimum UID in the network, we are just waiting and waiting and waiting. So that's the order, basically that's the time complexity. Now imagine the worst case. What if the minimum ID is 1000? If the minimum ID is 1000 in the network, for 1000 phases, and if let's say there are n iterations, so n into 1000, we are like n minus 1 into 1000, we are not doing anything. And then we start, for each of the round, we start forwarding the message, and which is what the slowness of this algorithm is all about. Right? So given that the messages are not even sent until we see the start of phase I, which is equal to umin, the minimum UID in the network, we are just waiting and waiting and waiting, and hence the time complexity is unbounded. It is dependent on the minimum UID of this network, and which makes this algorithm pathetically slow and impractical. But it's still very interesting. It's still very interesting about how algorithms can be thought about, how a system without having any coordination works. And this is the beauty of it, on how you can split it into phases and then rounds, and everyone knows ki, hey, now we are moving to the next phase or the next round, right? And this is why this algorithm is pretty interesting to understand. It gives us a way onto thinking, hey, this is also possible, or basically this is how systems can be built, right? You may take this, you may take an inspiration from this algorithm and put it at 100 different places. And which is why knowing such algorithms makes sense, because it's not just efficient algorithm that rules the world. Mostly inefficient, impractical algorithms give you much better insights about networks and systems, and in general computer science, right? Because that's where you need to be very witty or very smart with the implementation. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you guys like this video, and I hope you had fun learning this TimeSlice algorithm. It was like sleep sort per se, and quite interesting to know about, right? So yeah, that's it for this video. If you guys like this video, give this video a massive thumbs up. If you guys like the channel, give this channel a sub. I post 3 in-depth engineering videos every week, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, Arpit.